So the Sanctuary of Light and the Light Institute welcome each and all of you to this time of knowings and invite you to bring forward the questions of your hearts so that in our conversations we can extend out into the world a sense of enlightenment, of joy, of the power of change. And so this is very informal. Just bring forward anything that's important to you.
Could you talk about the change that's getting ready to happen, or not getting ready, that is happening on the planet, just as we've gone through evolutionary patterns from the mineral kingdoms to the biology coming in? Now, as we move into new relationships, could you talk more about that creative story?
Well, of course, in order to be the agents of change, we have to recognize what it means to find yourself in the midst of evolution and to recognize that we are evolving, as you're saying, on all levels in all of our bodies. What's going on now is that there is an opening, there is a lessening of the auric field of our earth, the electromagnetic energy of the earth is lessening, so more radiance, more radiation even is coming in, more photon light is coming in, which is allowing this quickening to occur. And so we're at a point of reference in which all that we have been is dissolving away. The focus on a reality that we have experienced over the thousands of years of human and animal and mineral and life and death is changing, because through our consciousness we are seeing more possibility. And so we must now move from the protection, the defense, the illusion of the individual self, and take the wisdom of individuation, the power of learning for ourselves, and move it back into a collective, or on into a collective octave in which we have collective consciousness through which we can powerfully become agents of change. To do that, we have to dissolve and resolve the fears that we have of our bodies, of each other, of life and death, of the limitation. We are coming to a place where there is not just the third dimension. We recognize that there is more than we see, and that what we do not see exists, that there are other realities, that there are other worlds, that there are other sentient beings, and that we must extend, we must practice consciousness so that we can incorporate the potential that's around us of sentient into our lives and the purpose of our lives. So it's a very exciting moment to be a part of the Earth's evolution, of our point in the solar system of our own neighborhood. We know that Venus is slowing down, and the scientists are saying, what does it mean that Venus is slowing down in its orbit? We've been looking at this alignment of Venus and Jupiter and the Moon in the last few days. Maybe it means that as it slows down, something else is going to change its orbit and all of our orbits around the sun. This is very much a potential or a possibility. And so again, it asks us to discover that we are made of the stars, and that the stars are made of us, and that we have many homes and many points of reference, and how we can use that invisible to change what is visible, what's manifest. We need to learn to extend our consciousness for healing, for support, for oneness, in ways that we've never done before, because we have said your God against my God, or your culture, or the fear of each other. All of these things must and are falling away right now, and we are individually and collectively emerging as a new kind of self, as a new kind of life form that is necessary so that our place in our solar system and our place in the universe is changing. The more that we recognize life and the divine aspect of life, the more we have to contribute, the more we sense a purpose. And our purpose doesn't have to be just in the doing. It's really in the consciousness. It's the way that we look out at the world and say, life is good. Or, I see that, and so I will choose that. Or, I see this thing here. It needs to be changed. I will participate in that change. And know that we have the right to call the rain, to quiet the wind, to extend healing to each other. That we have the right to use qualities and powers and strengths that we have hidden from ourselves and from each other for eons of time. And so the sense of self, what it is to be human, what it is to be alive, to recognize that we are indeed a stream of evolution from the first blue-green algae to perhaps the whales who may be more sentient than ourselves, gives us the space to be agents of change, initially, of course, for ourselves, for ourselves, and to do that with laughter, without fear, in the fearless way. And so, again, it's a great time not to wonder what will happen, but to choose what is. What else?
Chris, I know someone that has been going to a person, I think she calls herself a medical intuitive.
Yes.
And the basis of it, if I understand it right, is she says that God is giving her the information, and that she actually somehow tests what you're allergic to, and the person I know doesn't know how she does it, but she takes the allergy out, and she said even with her diabetes, she's worked with that, and emotional themes as well that are cleared sometimes on the DNA with, family dynamics.
Yes. And
with her diabetes, her numbers have actually gone down dramatically. But my question is about it, there's a discussion of themes that go on, but she's really not looking at the hologram of it herself. So I wondered if you could talk about that, how much clearing you actually, what's really being affected.
how you can get someone else to do the work for you.
In a sense.
Well, first I would say that it's a wonderful gift to be a medical intuitive, because it really allows you, gives you the sense of right to tell another person what's wrong with them. I would like to see us in the world use our medical intuition to tell other people what's right with them. In the way that here at the Light Institute, when we do psychogenetics, one of the first things that we do is ask a person to discover from whom in their family constellation they inherited positive physical attributes. Sometimes, for example, you might be a little weak in your skeleton, but you might be very strong in your eyes. And so that strength in your eyes, once you realize, wow, I have the gift of vision, you can begin to expand that hologram so that the powerful physical gift of your eyes can begin to influence the bones which represent the construct or the support of your being here. So all things intertwine with each other. So we can honor each and all of us for the intuition that we have and for the right that we have to heal ourselves and to heal each other. This person that goes to the medical intuitive is at a level that says, which is true many times when we have something wrong with us, we need someone else to pull us out of the pit of darkness. We don't feel the power in ourselves. So a good healer will always help you find that power in yourself. So that sometimes it's just like, here, take this herb, or use this color or this essential oil or whatever it is, and it will help you. That is something that helps you to become conscious that you don't have to stay weak or sick. The next octave of that is to take the responsibility for yourself and to see a hologram that will allow you to go to the source or the trigger point. That it could be, I would say 100% of the time it has an emotional element to it. That has allowed your body to use that particular disease or that kind of focus in your body to stimulate spiritual conversations. My own first teacher in healing when I was young said, whole in the spirit, whole in the body, which meant there is nothing going on in your body that doesn't have a spiritual purpose. Not to punish you, but to awaken you. And so that person needs to begin to explore that. That's the expansion of the hologram. All over the world there are healers who will help 1,000 people at once, and people will walk away from their crutches and have miracles happen. Usually what occurs, though, is that over a month, over a week, a month, a year, they will go back to where they were. It will come back again. Why does it come back? It comes back because you have not taken the responsibility. Not in the negative sense, it's your fault you have this disease, but rather this is your opportunity. This is your soul speaking to you. What is the theme? As you were saying, diabetes, it's a family theme. It has to do with the balance of blood sugar, which means receiving love and giving love. And so if you want to get rid of diabetes, and there are many herbs today, not just someone putting their hand on you and having it go down, the numbers go down. She could do that herself if she wanted to focus her consciousness on numbers. She could make the numbers go down herself. And I would hope that she would discover that, and that the person who's helping her would teach her to do that. So we want to, again, as is true of life, peel away and peel away and peel away until we come to something we recognize ourselves is true, and then change that. That's the power of responsibility. When you take responsibility, you are automatically at the same moment saying, I will change this. This is for me. I have the power to do this. And so that's intertwined with any kind of disease, and that she could expand that so that she doesn't project it onto the healer, but that she claims the power herself. We each have the power to heal ourselves, and each of us have caused our own diseases. Again, not because there's something lacking, because there's something wrong, because of negative karma, but because there's something that we can gain from it. And so we want to find that. And those are the kinds of things that we do at Dalai Lama, is to giving the power back to the person to feel. And again, our physical body is the closest to us. Very often we're not in our bodies until they hurt or they feel ecstatic. Otherwise we put them on automatic pilot. But they are, talking about the agent of change, they are the vehicle of the soul. They are the vehicle of incarnation, of evolution. And so we have to learn to educate ourselves and to commune with our bodies in new ways. And if we will begin to do that, sickness will dissolve and go away on this planet, because it will not have a purpose in terms of our soul's whisper. Take form. Come into form and manifest so that the unmanifest can evolve.
Thank you.
What else?
Could you talk about how meditation affects the brain?
Yes. There is nothing like meditation to affect our brain. Why? Because when we slow down, what meditation does is it takes us from the outer brain currents, the beta frequencies, which are faster, which allow a lot of garbage and a lot of biochemistry and electromagnetic energies to go on in the brain, a lot of chaotic energies. When we slow the brain down into alpha or theta, then it creates this concentration. It literally changes the quality of neurotransmitters. What is transmitted and carried along that comes into the different aspects or parts of the brain that then are reflected within the body itself. So meditation allows the brain to bring together the cosmos and the physical form. Meditation is the most powerful way out of pain and into joy. It's the most powerful way to experience a self that belongs in the universe, that is not a self that's in danger of disappearing, of dissolving, of harming us or hurting us. And so I feel, and it's typical of human evolution. What do we have now? We have Alzheimer's. We have dementia. We have brains that are not working. A part of that is what we're sticking in our bodies, what's in our environment around us, how we feel when we age. Do we listen to our brains ourselves? And also the bombardment of energies that are coming into the planet make it difficult for people to stay focused. Because we're growing. Our brains need to grow. One expression of age or aging is the shrinking of the brain. Now the brain is 90% liquid. So if you want to take care of your brain, one of the best things that you could do is every time you drink water, and drink a lot of it, put your hand over it and energize it. And again, feed it to your brain. So the brain is juicy and it can swell and it doesn't shrink and it doesn't dry up. And then you will remember and your neurotransmitters will function. So when we cease the activity, when we take our attention from the outside world and we bring it into the innermost resources of our essence, then that relaxation that occurs, that release of stress on all levels, emotional stress, mental stress, physical stress, spiritual stress, when we release that through meditation, our whole body is rejuvenated. We know that 20 minutes of meditation is equal to 8 hours of sleep. When we sleep, we naturally, like riding waves, we naturally will come up into high levels or faster levels in which we dream, and then we go deep into theta or delta. We can actually hold all those frequencies at once, which we didn't know in the past. In other words, you could be in delta and still have flickers or sparks of beta thinking come in there. But as we sleep, we are doing this in and out and in and out. But when you meditate and you bring your energy into the essence of the being, then it allows, for one thing, all of the master glands in the brain to be able to function physiologically and spiritually in perfect harmony with the body's purpose. So if you're in a deep meditation, then your pituitary gland can stimulate your thymus to activate T cells to protect your body or to restore cells. Imagine to do that in 20 minutes instead of 8 hours of sleep. The beauty of meditation is it doesn't have to be in the silence of your room. It is wonderful if you do it every day and you do it at the same time. That's just because humans love patterns, we love habits, and we sink into meditation more easily if we do it all the time at the same time. But I have found that, here's my little technique, I am meditating. I am meditating. That command will lower my brain waves instantly. I could be driving along and I am meditating. I could be doing something with 4 or 5 people and I am meditating. So I am nourishing myself One of the things that my higher self says about meditation is that the purpose of meditation is to nourish the essence of your being, to nourish your life, to receive from the cosmos energies that support your body, on your light body, your physical body, your mental body, all of the energies, your primordial body, to support your purpose of incarnation. And so when we have that recognition of receiving, we become peaceful. If you are peaceful, you will not put out cortisol, you will not put out fight or flight hormones, you will be able to see clearly the way through. And the more that you do that, the better at it you get. And the more you're able to expand that into all octaves of your life. And so when you give yourself that nourishment, your life changes. And that's why meditation has such a profound effect, not only on the brain or the physical body, but on everything that happens and what you attract to yourself. Many people are so afraid that no one will choose them, or that the money will go away, or the love will go away, and they will not have what they need, that they never really are able to move into that meditative energy. And so the brain is simply the large center of it, and I would say it's important to recognize that every cell has, within the atom of the cell, in the center of the cell, it has mind. It has cellular memory. So it has a consciousness, and that is the gift of the brain. That as the brain uses the neurotransmitters, that it uses the juice, that it facilitates consciousness. And consciousness is supported also, again, by cosmic frequencies, by unseen energies that support the integrity of form. So may we all nourish our brains through meditating and allow that meditation to flow through the trillions of cells of the body, so that all of the brain, science has discovered today that we have two other brains. We have the brain in the solar plexus nerve ganglion, which we call the seat of the emotional body, and we have brain in the intestines. Because of the nerve arcs in the intestines, every several inches you have a point of a nerve arc that will flow from your intestines into your brain and then into some other part of your body. So they call these the other brains. Some people say that there is a brain in the heart as well. So what is the brain? The brain is the nerve center. And the heart, if you are stressed, your heart will respond by squeezing, by clumping the blood, by having all kinds of imbalances occur. But if you are meditating, then your heart will relax, and it will again facilitate that sense of purpose and integrity within your whole body. So we want to expand our sense of brain into all the cells, into the various centers of the body that are influenced by the peace and the integrity that we receive through meditation.
Can I ask a question? How does firewalking help with the spiritual and meditative path?
That's a wonderful question, because firewalking has occurred, of course, especially in the eastern parts of the world, for thousands of years. It was initially back to the cavemen. Fire was considered sacred and even godly, that there was a god of the fire. And then it was used for purification and for life force energy, and it was recognized as essential to the spiritual world. And then, of course, humans realized that they could become one with the fire. And the way we become one with the fire is to walk on the fire. And so the most important thing, and the reason we at the Light Institute use firewalking as a part of our intensives, is that it's a way of practicing the truth of who you are. That you are beyond what your mind can explain. Science cannot explain why it is that you can walk on fire. There is no scientific explanation that can be repeated that answers the question. And I've seen people walk across fire with canes and shoes. The rubber will melt. Difficulties will happen. But if you walk barefoot across the fire, your feet will be perfect. Your feet can withstand that. And it's not because of any preparation. It's simply something we know from the ancient systems of medicine, that the element of fire is something that we have inside us. It's not just an astrological thing or an Ayurvedic thing. It is an element within us. We are made of carbon, as are the stars. And so our body relates to fire because fire brings us carbon, which brings us our essence. So when we walk across the fire, we perform a miracle. And that allows us to view ourselves in a different way. That we have the courage, that we have strength, that we are a miracle. And once we have a flicker of, I can do this, then that echoes out in our emotional mind. It echoes out in our spiritual sense of purpose and influences other aspects of our lives. Well, if I can walk on fire, I can cure my disease. If I can walk on fire, I can change my life. Maybe I need to divorce. Maybe I need to allow my heart to open and relate. Maybe I need to change my job, whatever it is. Because we have experiences, we haven't talked about it, we haven't pretended it, we haven't done anything but truth. The body never lies. And this is why we do it. Because when you walk on fire, you did it. Nobody can push you across there. Nobody can hypnotize you. You did it. And that recognition inside yourself is what allows you to open the window, let's say, of spiritual essence, to see yourself in that way. Because what is spirituality? It is the unmanifest. It is the inexplicable aspects of the universe, of the divine, that we cannot talk away, that we cannot change with our minds. And so when we walk across fire, we live a moment of truth. And that's what I love about firewalking, and why we will always use it as a way of accessing. When we walk across fire, one of the ways that we help a person to prepare is to connect them with their higher selves, which is the essence. I call it the intuitive essence, the voice of the soul, the megaphone of the soul, that point of truth. And so when we connect with our higher self, we begin to trust our intuition. We begin to trust talents that we might have, precognition, and the capacity to heal ourselves and others. Many points of reference that interweave with a more spiritual expression of our purpose in life. And so only that kind of truth opens us.
I like the fact that you mentioned in one of our talks about the spirituality and about the cleansing of the body, and how the little blister points even mark a kind of cleansing. Can you say more? And is the fire a kind of chi energy, but the cosmic chi of the earth and the cosmos run the chi of our body? That's
very well said. I love that. But let me correct to say that most people never get any blisters. We call it a kiss if there's a little red spot that occurs. But if we get blisters or we get a little kiss, a little red spot, and it's interesting that they always occur in a part of the foot that relates to a meridian or an organ in the body. That's why foot reflexology has so much validity, is that like the hands, the nerve centers in the foot reflex to all the organs and other parts of the body. So if there is a part that gets a little red spot or even a blister, and that's because that organ or that part of your body has been blocked. The energy has not been flowing there. And so we can really thank our feet for providing the stimulus, the fire for providing the stimulus through our feet to heal us. And it's really amazing how people will, you can get out a little chart and go, wow, that little spot, that's right on my heart meridian, or that's right into my brain, or that's in my eyes, or something like that. And then we can feel, again, which I think is so powerful, that our bodies are not hurting us, that our bodies are teaching us. In fact, when my higher self says the body never lies, it carries the brunt of the spirit. That means it will suffer the pain, or it will have the experience that we need to evolve. And so it's a gift. And we always want to thank our body. If you thank your body, you get a little red spot on the bottom of the foot, and you thank your body, you know what? That red spot will go away quite quickly. They usually do. It is wonderful how our body is like a constellation. Every organ reflexes to someplace else, tells its own story, means something. And we can hear our own truths through those parts of our bodies. Thank you. What else?
Can you talk more about what, you've talked about the body being from the stars, and then you've just talked about how the organs are like a constellation. Can you talk more about what this physical body really is, how it was made, and the magic of it?
The magic of it. Well, let me say that we are not the first sentient beings within the universe who have been able to clone bodies, but we have never been able to initiate life. And that's where spiritual energy comes in. That's where the sacredness or the creative force comes in. And so that is the mystery. We do not know how to initiate life, but we know how to alter it. We know how to repeat it. We know how to change the genetic encoding. We know many things, and in the future we may know even that mystery. But what is true from my perspective as a spiritual conversation is that there is a one source of energy that transmits and transfers through all constellations, through all of the universe and the many universes and the infinite solar systems, and takes on that vibration, that sacred source takes on infinite forms, and those forms are eternally evolving. There is no end, there is no beginning of that. And there is a lot of controversy today about what is the human form. My own sense of it is that it is of the stars, and not just by the carbon atoms, but that we actually have templates, that there are other civilizations, there are other beings in many solar systems. Science has recently discovered that there are other areas that are like Earth, that have the same atmospheres as Earth, that are circling suns. And so we are not alone. So the form that we have evolved in is a form that should be in balance with our environment. And what I would say about the body is that, again, it's the subtle, for example, the endocrine systems that are the threshold between the light body and the physiological body. The more that we're aware of that, the more we will be able to attune to what is happening to our Earth. Because the Earth, like Venus, it's changing. The poles have changed. They have flipped before. We know that. They are moving now. They may move. We may flip again. So the evolution of human has to continue to be in concert. And let me say that specifically. We have more radiation than we used to because we are creating radiation leaks by using nuclear power, because the earth oozes radiation, because the sun is bringing more radiation. Therefore, the evolution of humans, the human form, must begin to take in faster frequencies of light so that the human form will serve its purpose of evolution. I do not think that, we came from the monkeys. No. But we have similarities. We do have that tree of life, so to speak, from the blue-green algae. We have the whales inside us. We have the blue-green algae inside us. We have the monkeys inside us, and yet we have other things as well as they have other things. And so our form is continually changing to be a part of what's happening to the earth. This is very exciting when we use consciousness to be aware of that. That, in other words, spiritual source, the creation of life, and the expression of life in form are not in opposition. They are both evolving. The divine source, God, if you will, is eternally evolving. And it evolves through form. The form becomes formless and carries back into the formless the potential and the potential, the matrix that then turns around and becomes new form. And so the human body, if you were able psychogenetically, as we do at the Light Institute, to look at your great-great-great-grandparents, they would not look just like you. The proportions of their bones would be different. The way they stood would be different. The separation in their eyes, the size of their heads, the length of their fingers would be similar but different than you. Because in all of this pulse of evolution, and of course, human lifetimes aren't even a flicker, and the whole course of your family constellation back to your great-great-great-great-great-grandparents isn't even a flicker. But you have carried, or they have carried through their legacy, variations of form that serve the environment emotionally, physiologically, and spiritually. And so when we look around at ourselves, we are not just the legacies of our parents and our grandparents, but we are the legacy passed to our children. So there is this changing, constant changing. Some people say that initially, what is now human came from the sea, that all life came from the sea, and that the breasts of the human were in a different place, and that the fetuses held to the hair in the sea. Imagine the image of that, of a baby holding to the hair of its mother in the sea, and that came out of the sea into the land, and then some, like the whales, went back into the sea. And so, what are our bodies? There are many, many different theories. And what I smile about in terms of science is that what was true 50 years ago, without a doubt, burn at the stake if you don't think so, is recognized as absolutely quaint today. At every moment we're learning more about the smallest elements, the quirks, the smallest energies that create form. So what you want to do is to feel in your body its capacity to adapt, its capacity to change and move, and that does not change by aging. It's just that your thought, your envisioning of yourself changes. And so the receptor cells stop receiving the juice, the hormones and the enzymes that would allow the repetition of perfect cells. How long we live and the way we live and the forms of our bodies are changing as our consciousness changes. And this is very exciting.
So I'm very intrigued by this. I want to take it one step further.
Yes.
So as humans and the stardust and whatever, we're bringing that to this planet, and there's an interaction going on, and we're talking about how the body changes and adapts.
Yes.
Can you say more about that dance together? Because it's like bringing new material, and
Yes.
then the old material changes with the new material and creates addition.
What's really important in the essence of that is that there is a point of consciousness, whether we call it God or whatever we call it, that influences form, that influences the body. And what's going on right now is that because we have gone out into outer space, our expansion, our view of the cosmos, our recognition that our own galaxy is expanding. We are galactic beings. We have galactic DNA. What does that mean? It means that within the structure of our human form are structures that could be utilized in environments that are a little bit different than human. My son was born in the sea. He feels he can breathe in the water. He can. He doesn't have to hold his breath. So we have interfaces now that through our consciousness we can facilitate this flow. And what's going on now is the more that we acknowledge that we have galactic DNA, the more the Divik, which is the kingdom of nature, of minerals, of plants and spirits, the more they interact with us. And so there is this alteration. The astral dimension around the earth and within the earth is without time. And that's why many spirits, the spirit of a tree or the spirit of water or the little people in all the legends, or the giants, which definitely walked upon the earth, they are moving within us now. And so through our consciousness we can thread through genetics galactic DNA, Divik DNA that serves our experience as humans. As we feel that we are part of a galaxy, then we don't have to be afraid of seeing beings that are a little different than us. Bigger heads, strange eyes, animals that are half man, half horse. All of these things exist within the astral. They've existed within the third dimension. We are opening to many, many dimensions now that we can harvest to help humans evolve. So the way the dance works, the way evolution works, is like the simple law of Brownian movement, basically. It's simply that energy flows in the direction of least resistance. So the more that your consciousness allows a galactic body, being part of nature, being part of the ocean, for example, which you are. A woman's womb is, our blood is just like the sea and minerals. The more that we allow that, the more these energies can take up residence in us and become something that we can use in our consciousness. So it's getting rid of the resistance. How do we get rid of the resistance? As we do at the Light Institute, we begin to see ourselves beyond life and death, beyond this structure. It's amusing to me, people who want to have ascension, or even religions that think that you ascend into heaven and you're going to carry the same body for forever and ever and ever. How would the divine work in that? Or that if we freeze our bodies, then like the Egyptians, maybe someday we'll come back into these bodies. Why would you want to? Why would you want to? The beauty of form, the beauty of the manifest is to experience being male and female and androgynous and four-legged and winged and all of these things. And the illusion that humans have had in the past that the two-leggeds are the apex of evolution is absurd. Here are the whales. They have a brain very similar to ours, but their brain never sleeps. What happens if part of your consciousness never goes to sleep? What can you know? What can you use? Who can you be? So, when we realize that instead of resisting change, or could you be a divine being? Could you have angelic DNA? Could you be a part of a tree? The more that we allow this recognition, even in science, come on, you came from the blue-green algae, came from the seed. The more you allow yourself to experience that, the less resistance you'll have to the changes that are eternally evolving between the manifest and the unmanifest, between earth, the inner earth, the atmosphere. We now have, beyond the biosphere, we have a thing called the noosphere. It's endless. So what we want to do is experience as much as possible that supports our sense of purpose. If carrying angelic DNA will help you to love and to have compassion and to whisper truth to others, the better a human you will be. So why would we not seek that? Etc., etc., etc.
Time.
Yes.
So is the Dalai Lama ever going to break that treadmill of karma? You're on tape.
Quick reminder.
As the Dalai Lama himself says, I am simply a teacher of a way of living, of a way of evolving, of a path to enlightenment. Will we continue to use that apex? Who knows whether the Dalai Lamas will continue to reincarnate one after another, one after another, one after another. Now think about what that means as a template to humans. Do you think there's a possibility that the moment you die, you reincarnate again? I think so. It used to be that from what we could tell, there were thousands or hundreds of years between one incarnation and another. Now they go on one right after another, as the Dalai Lama exhibits, and even through the Light Institute work, simultaneous lifetimes. And so time and space changes. Will they use that form forever? Hopefully not. Right now it's a gift because the whisper of that perspective of life has been helpful to people. Be peaceful. Embrace something that is greater, a greater kind of consciousness. So it's been a gift that the Dalai Lama has been able to bring messages just like all the great incarnations of soul, like ourselves. So when you wonder, what is my purpose? What do I have to do to be of value in this life? What my higher self would say to you would be, hold a consciousness of great compassion, of great love, of great cosmic frequencies. That's the purpose of your life. And so whether we do that by having one person be it, I feel that the evolution of humanity will not be the continually treadmill of karma as a horizontal plane, but more as more rapidly evolving evolution in which each time we incarnate, we bring something that we haven't brought before, or we connect in a different way. Imagine, do you think that all of the Dalai Lamas, that all of their consciousness, if all of their energy is placed in one body, do you think that there are any Dalai Lamas who right now are incarnate in other galaxies or other planets? I do. So we have to shift our understanding of, again, life, death, what goes on in between, what goes on around, so that we can see it differently. But the Dalai Lama and that conversation of one incarnation and the next incarnation is a great gift to us because it can inspire people. People who never heard of that before now believe in reincarnation. What is the gift of believing in reincarnation? That your soul never dies, that your soul is not, that your consciousness does not die with your body. Does that not give you freedom? Does it not give you the power to choose in new ways, to really participate in your evolution and the evolution of your species and all species? What a gift reincarnation is to this world. And so eventually we'll understand that, and in embracing that, we'll begin to see, like the rock in the pond that ripples out, what does it mean? What does it mean? Can we reincarnate in other forms, in other bodies? Of course. Of course. The possibilities are limitless.
I had a question. With Chernobyl and 3 Mile Island and now the tsunami and the nuclear stuff, aren't we in some ways creating negative energy and karma by affecting these animals, the oil pollution from oil tankers and the oceans?
Well, we're practicing. What we're doing is practicing. I used to whimper about that a lot because I really feel personally responsible when we spill oil and kill the beings of the sea, which is so foolish because we only exist because of the beings in the sea, because of the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide and all of that. But there's several elements of that. The more that we pollute this planet, the more we will learn or die. It's just like in health we say, alkalize your body or die. Well, the same is true of this planet. Guess what? If the humans pollute this planet and therefore cut off our own future as a species, the planet will go on. It'll just, as the Native American would say, Earth, Gaia, will just get rid of the 2 Davids. And so the seas will clear themselves. Again, think in millions of years. The earth will regain its balance, but we have an opportunity to see cause and effect. How do you change karma? You have to participate in it. So we can't think of it as negative and positive, that at this moment you did something that's negative karma, you're creating negative karma. But because you will become aware of cause and effect, that you did that and therefore the other happened, you will evolve. And your evolution will touch the evolution and the potential of all other sentient beings. We are here. We are not babies. We are not beginners. And as we let go of our fear of each other and begin to use collective consciousness through our telepathy, through our capacities of intuition, we will get rid of this. So again, the thing there is not to say, look at those guys, they dumped the oil into the Gulf, but to, hey, say, what if through your consciousness, psst, you could dissolve that? If you can call the rain, as the Hopis have done for 4,000 years, as we've done in the Light Institute for forever, then why can't you clean up? I had a project called Human Potential and Global Responsibility. No, what is it called? Yes, Human Potential and Global Responsibility, which means that we could use our consciousness to answer our problems. I went to Russia with a group of people one time and talked to the scientific community there about, I was there right after Chernobyl when they were watering down the streets, and so I talked to them about using these laws of manifestation and demanifestation. The same thing as calling the rain is getting rid of radiation. Developing a simple technique by which we could dissolve radiation, for example. So we have these possibilities. We just haven't gone around the circle to say, how can we use this possibility? Get together, dissolve the radiation. Get together, bring new forms of electricity and energy and power. We can do this. And that's why we're here. because we have lifetimes in other galaxies. We have imprints that will help us to resolve this. After all, speaking of carbon, we are life, the Earth's blood itself. We are the oil. So let us walk from this place in this moment and feel that we need to begin to ask our higher self to show us, how could I imagine dissolving radiation? How could I imagine lending my energy to something? We have to practice now. That's the point of firewalking, is to see what is true. We have to do it. My great love to you all.